Good morning and a very happy new year to you. It's Monday the 2nd of January 2023. Wow, 2023. Where do the years go? So, I'm starting today's walk here in Clay Cross. Now this is one of several air shafts in Clay Cross, because right below me there's a railway tunnel. So hopefully later on I might see one of the entrances to the tunnel. George Stephenson sank coal pits at Clay Cross, as well as nearby Moreton, Wingerworth and Danesmore. Clay Cross Colliery closed down in 2000, and now there's not one of Stephenson's coal mines left in operation. In memory of all North East Derbyshire miners who lost their lives working to keep the home fires burning and the wheels of industry turning. Clay Cross was once known as Clay Lane, and is probably the route that the Roman road Ricknield Street took on its way from Derby to Rotherham. When George Stephenson came to the area to plan the railway route from Derby to Leeds, he concluded he would have to tunnel under the village. Gangs of navvies descended on Clay Cross to build what would become known as the mile-long tunnel. And there's another air shaft. I'd really love to be able to climb on top of the wall there and have a look down inside. Not that I'd be able to see anything anyway, to be honest. Interesting. Of course, I'm forgetting. It's Monday, but it's still a bank holiday because New Year's Day fell yesterday, which was a Sunday. So we're having a bank holiday today to make up for it. So. Okay, well I'm walking down Market Street now. Just going down here for a little way, and then I'll be starting the walk. After about a third of a mile, I turned off Market Street along a lane, passing the leisure centre. The lane wound its way through parklands to eventually reach Pilsley Road, along which I turned left to walk through Danesmore, passing the local war memorial. Turning right beside some industrial units, I followed a rough lane, which soon crossed the River Rother and a section of the Midland Main Railway line. Beyond the railway bridge, I took a footpath along the edge of fields. I'm leaving Clay Cross now. I'm slowly making my way across the fields towards the village of Pilsley. Oh, there's a train. I suppose the trains are running at the moment with all the strikes that we've had recently. Anyway, so 2023, wow, we are now at the start of 2023. It just makes me think how quickly the time has gone, as I always say, but I've now officially lived in Derbyshire for 20 years. It was the start of January 2003 when I moved to the area. So we are now in January 2023. I've now lived here 20 years. Wow. Well, I hope everybody had a nice Christmas anyway. Another Christmas has come and gone. I did the usual. Went down to see Mum for a few days. Came back a couple of days before New Year. Was out New Year's Eve. That was nice. Just to see in the new year. I've never been a great fan of New Year, to be honest with you, because I always find, because I've always enjoyed Christmas, always. It always seems an anticlimax after Christmas, because it's just a week after Christmas, and everything just goes flat then. So I think it's nice now because I'm off this week. I'm not back to work until next Monday. I'm going to try and get out as much as I can this week. So it'll make January seem less dull, hopefully. Well, it will do, because I always enjoy going for walks. But I always do find the start of January quite dull after enjoying Christmas. It just sort of marks the end of Christmas for me when you get New Year. But there you go. So, yeah. So this walk is, I think it's about 7 miles, a bit more than 7 miles. I actually had to push myself to get up this morning because I don't normally come out filming in January. Because this time of year, as I've said before, we get shorter days. It sort of gets dark before 4. We've had the shortest day now, just before Christmas, so gradually now the days have started getting lighter again. But I really had to push myself to get up today. I did have a bit of a lie-in the end, but I just thought, right, let's get out. So I'm sort of putting the pace on a little bit today to hopefully finish the walk before it starts getting dark. But if it does, well, c'est la vie, as they say. That might make it more interesting. Okay. Wow, that sun's bright, it's lovely, really lovely. Choice of routes here then. I could either take the path opposite across that field, or I could stick with the lane. I think for today's walk, I'm going to stick with the lane.
I walked along Hallgate Lane, as far as Hallgate Farm, where, at a bend in the road, I took the footpath straight ahead.
Ooh, my first squeeze start of 2023. I don't think this one's too narrow, actually. He says, as he holds his belly in. Well, let's be honest, I did eat more food over Christmas.
The path crossed the fields to descend into the village of Pilsley, where the source of the River Rother is. Pilsley Colliery was founded in 1866 on the site of the present-day Loco plantation. At its peak, the colliery was made up of 6 shafts, employed 945 men, and produced 1,200 tons of coal per shift. The colliery was closed in 1957.
I love these old miners' wheels. Yeah. Dotted all over this part of Derbyshire. Pilsley Parish Council. To Pilsley miners, thank you for the warmth and the light. That's nice.
I walked into the churchyard of St Mary's Church of England, Pilsley's Anglican church. Continuing through the village along Station Road, I soon came to the 5 Pits Trail.
So I'm back on the 5 Pits Trail. Yeah. The sun's moving around to the other side now, so I'll film this side so that we're not getting all the rays of the sun in my picture. It's better. So yeah, the 5 Pits Trail then. Of course, I did a tiny little bit of it when I was at Tibshelf on my last walk, and that's near where it starts. So if I'd have gone the other way, that would have taken me back to Tibshelf. But I'm going this way as I head north. I'm going in the direction of North Wingfield now. Now, you may have noticed just now that when I was taking the last shot of me walking along the trail, I started on this side. But as you can see, you've got the sun's rays spoiling the picture. So that's why I started off taking the shot on this side and then slowly edged it round to show me on this side where the sun isn't ruining the picture. So that's something else we've got to consider when I'm out filming, is where the sun is. Another thing as well is that for the most part up to now, why did I actually take that shot where I was filming into the sun and then moved it around to show me on this side? Well, it's because for the most part of today's filming up to now, I've been filming myself on this side. So that's why I showed a shot of me now doing this. The reason being is, now that I'm showing myself from this angle, if I took the next shot showing me from the other angle just now, it looks like I've doubled back on myself. So if you keep sort of filming yourself going in the same direction from the same angle, it doesn't look as though you're doubling back, basically. I know that sounds a bit silly, but let me give you an example now. So let's do another shot now. So I've just entered this shot from that side, okay? So I'm now going to exit it on the other side. So I'm entering this shot on the right hand side of the frame, because in the last shot I exited on the left hand side. Now if I was to have actually exited the last shot on the left hand side and then filmed this shot from the other way, I'll show you now, it looks like I'm doubling back on myself. So that's why when I'm walking along a particular route, I try and keep the camera on the one side of the path so that it's facing the same way all the time. So when you enter a shot like this, I've entered it on the left hand side of the frame this time. I'm exiting it now on the right hand side. So what I would have to then do, the next shot, I would have to make sure that I entered the next shot from the left hand side of the picture again, as I say, because it looks like I've been doubling back on myself. So just to confuse you, I'm now going to walk this way and enter the next shot on the wrong side. So I'm now filming this shot from the other side, the other angle. So it probably looks like I've doubled back again. But no, I'm still heading north along the 5 Pits Trail. But that's another consideration I have to think about when I'm out filming. So if I've exited the shot from the left hand side of the frame and then cut to another shot of me walking, I need to make sure that that shot that I'm cutting into, I enter the frame from the right hand side. So it's all technical stuff, you know.
The 5 Pits Trail soon entered Locho Plantation. Here I dropped to Locho Lane. Crossing the road, I carried on heading north along the trail.
I'm going to give a shout out now to my next door neighbours, Dennis and Dorothy. Now, I've known Dennis and Dorothy on and off for nearly 20 years, so that's most of the time that I've been living in Derbyshire. They both used to drink in my local pub, or one of the local pubs I drank in Matlock, but I was pleased to discover that when I moved to my new home 6 months ago, that they were going to be one of my next door neighbours, so that was lovely. Dennis has just turned 90, so yeah, well done Dennis, looking well. And one of the wonderful things he said to me this morning, because I saw him this morning just as I was on my way out, so I had a quick chat with him before I got in the car and made my way over to Clay Cross. First time I've seen him in several weeks actually, but Dennis sort of stands outside his home and has a cigarette, so that's when I normally see him. But he said to me this morning that he and Dorothy have been married for 68 years, so congratulations to both of you. Yeah, so Dennis would have been 21, 22 when they got married, and he was saying that they met at a dance. I can't remember exactly where it was, but Dorothy would have been 17, he said,
But he asked her for a dance on that night, and they've been together ever since then. So, fair play to you both. Wonderful to see you this morning, Dennis, and Happy New Year to you and Dorothy.
Having passed through Broom Ridding Wood, the Five Pits Trail was about to cross Timber Lane.
Okay, so this is where I leave the Five Pits Trail today, but I will come back and do a bit more again on the next walk. So I'm going to head down this lane now. I'm almost doubling back on myself, but I'm just heading towards North Wingfield now.
I turned left along Timber Lane, soon branching off right to head west along some very muddy paths across the fields.
Well, there's just over 2 miles left of the walk to go now, so done the majority of it. So now I'm approaching North Wingfield.
I reached the village of North Wingfield and crossed the busy A6175, which is the road linking the A61 through Clay Cross to the M1 motorway.
Wouldn't think it was a bank holiday, would you? Lots of traffic everywhere today. Oh well. Okay, I'm going to walk up to the church. I'm not sure whether I'm going to go inside because my walking boots are absolutely filthy, just caked in mud, so I don't think I really want to sort of tread all my muddy footprints around inside the church, but I'll have a look at it as much as I can. I can't get in anyway. They must have known I was coming.
The Church of St Lawrence, part of which dates from the Norman era, with some features being Anglo-Saxon in origin.
Oh well, even though I couldn't go inside the church, it's a lovely churchyard and the exterior is nice, as all churches are. Okay, just got to make my way back towards Clay Cross now then.
Descending from the church, I took a path leading away from the main road, which crossed another part of the Midland Main railway line.
So I'm crossing back over the railway now that I crossed earlier, but I'm going to be crossing another railway in a minute. That will hopefully be more of interest.
Beyond the railway, the footbridge crossed the River Rother again, where I turned right. The path curved round to the left to meet a second footbridge over yet another part of the Midland Main line.
So I'm now crossing the second railway. I'm also now going to take a look at the northern portal of the Clay Cross Tunnel.
I couldn't get any great shots of the tunnel, unfortunately, due to high security fencing beside the path, but I captured what I could.
I'm heading back into Clay Cross now then. So this has been the first walk that I filmed in 2023. As I said earlier, I don't usually go out filming in January because, as I say, the days are shorter. It's 3:30 now, the sun's dropping, so I've just made it back before it does start to get dark. And usually, because the weather's colder this time of year, it never really motivates me to go out very often, but I really pushed myself to go out today. It's not been too cold, it's been alright, it's just been very muddy. Yep, that's what the great outdoors is all about. If you can't take it, then don't do it. Anyway, as I make my way back into Clay Cross and taking my boots off and then driving home, which is only about 20 minutes away, I just want to say to all of you, thank you for watching, and may 2023 be a brilliant year for everybody. Bye for now.